Hey, everybody, it's Perch. I was recording long for like 4 minutes, and it turned into this rambling nonsense. So I just stopped and decided to start over again. And by the way, we're off to a bad start. It already sounds like rambling nonsense again. But you know, this could be the final video for this channel. It will be because I continue to answer mail, and I have this weird responsibility to answer all the mails and talk about comics, and I just enjoy talking to all of you. And I enjoy 90% of the comments. I wish a couple of the trolls. I'm like, look, let me put it this way. If you're going into the comments and you're making kind of trolly comments because that's your bit, you've proved your point. It's been a couple of years now. Just call it a day. Honestly. I mean, if you're getting something out of it, I guess more power to you. Keep going. But, I don't know who you're entertaining at this point. Yourself, the bit, it's fine. But I've been in the mind of comics lately, and I guess I should preface this little story. So there's a local bar, and it is a total dive bar near the place I've been going to consult and do work. And I said at one point, which is dive bar, I take people out there for drinks every now and then, and I say, man, I want my name up in this bar. And why I said that is because there's a bunch of bars around Texas where the people who drink like every day get their name up. And I want my name up in a bar without the liver damage of drinking every day, even though in fairness, I'm drinking most days. So I said I want my name up. And, I said this kind of in passing. And then a bunch of people actually, spent money and bought a little neon sign, and they convinced the bar to install this sign in the bar with my name on. And it's like, fuck yeah. I mean, like, I didn't, it was like, it's like one of the most touching things in my life. I've got the birth of my children, kind of my wedding, and then my name up in a bar. It's like, this is the list of things. It's like, it's going to be one of the happiest moments of my life, and so I'm in a reflective mood, thinking about comics and work and interactions and people and everything else. And I find myself in this weird state where, I've made some amazing friends in comics. And I've read amazing comics, and I've read great stories, and I've seen great things come to life. And there's a bunch of people in comics, writers who've told me ideas, some of which may come to pass, some of which will never come to pass. And I feel really gifted and honored to get to be a part of this world. I feel more than that, more than the ideas, I can still remember interactions I've had, probably hundreds of interactions I've had with customers who come in and they want to read a comic and they're not sure what to buy. And I'm like, hey, what do you like? You like action and you like magic? Well, maybe you should try this comic. And then people who picked up that comic and came back like weeks later going, bah, I'd like more of that. And to me, those are the memories that really matter in comics. Those are the things that really, those are things I'm going to remember forever. The memories of people discovering that comic for the first time, discovering kind of these adventures for the first time, really kind of learning and understanding what all of this stuff can be like. And those are the happy memories. The amazing stories, the imagination, the giving somebody the access to something they've never seen before. I can't begin to tell you what a gift that is. And as a creator, for a lot of you, the ability to tell a story. One of the guys, I've talked to tons of people. We have great interviews here, and we'll do more interviews for sure on this channel. But one of my favorites is a guy most people have never heard of, and that's Larry King. And Larry has done some comics, and I helped him with his comic, not because I felt obligated, not because I felt like, this is something that I have to do or that I was going to make money off of, but because I made no money off Larry's comic. None. That was all just helping a guy who I felt had some passion in this industry do something. And I wanted to see that guy get something out there in a bigger level, and he did. And I find that magical. And that's, and I love people who have a passion for this industry. It's why I've done so many videos with Joe Corallo. I whether you like Joe's work or dislike Joe's work, or you like Joe's humor or dislike Joe's humor, one thing you can't deny is he does like comics. That's why I enjoy talking to Jim's Up. It's why I enjoy talking to Sean Murphy. These are people who love comics. They have a lot of things going on in their life, but they do love comics. And there's plenty of people. In some world, some way, Ben Templesmith. I talked to that guy. I was walking around on a trail in a forest talking to Ben Templesmith for the first time. And Ben's like, hey, he's kind of nervous about it. He goes, hey, in the caller ID, it came up with your name. Or, I hope it's okay. I know your name now. I'm like, yeah, I was okay with it. It was all right. That's how caller ID works. I understand. But God damn it, if you ever go to a show and Ben Templesmith is there, well, I'm begging you, go over there and just thank the guy for being such a creative genius in this business. There's a ton of them. One of the things that I think I feel really privileged of with all but one of the interviews I've ever done, these are people with different types of passion, but passion for comics. And in a world where, and I'm going to get into it in a second, where you see the dark side of comics a lot, it's important to recognize the passion. You can't listen to an interview or talk to Philip Kennedy Johnson and not feel like that guy really gives a shit about what he's doing, because he does. You can't talk to somebody like Martha Thomas's, and not feel like this is somebody who really cares about comics. The late, great Rachel Pollack, this is somebody who loved comics. And so whether you like the work or dislike the work, you can kind of unify around the idea that this is somebody who really cared about comics. And, comics are storytelling that matters. And it's important to remember those moments when you're dealing with the bullshit of comics. Right now as I record this, Israel is at war, basically with, with Hamas, and it's an ugly situation. By the time this video airs, who knows what will have happened. But what's amazing to me is that there's so much ugliness in comics, and there's people writing articles. I know that Bleeding Cool did one, and but if you just search comics Twitter, you got a bunch of people I know that they take a lot of shit, but if you listened, and by the way, I'm using the pronouns properly, if you read some of what they are posting, and I'm talking about stuff from Vita, it's completely and utterly anti-Semitic and racist. 100%. And yet, this is somebody in comics who speaks for comics who's getting away with this shit. And they're wrong. And it's ugly. And it does rub off on comics. This is the problem with social media and a lot of stuff in general, is that you have people who are giving their opinion on real world situations, and it's ugly. And it takes away from the magic of what comics can be when you have somebody who's posting blatantly awful things. Nadia Shemas posting some of what she's posting. It's terrible. Whether you're pro-Israel or anti-Israel, it's awful to see some of this stuff. And this is one of the biggest villains to comics, is the fact that you've got this mouthpiece for people to just spew crazy bullshit in public and then portray themselves as a comic creator. And so, for all the comic creators out here who are listening to this, I want to give this one perspective that maybe you don't quite understand. Yes, of course you're entitled to your own opinion. And yes, you're of course entitled to believe whatever you want. That is kind of, if you live in this country, if you live in the United States, that's your right. In many other countries, that's also your right. Not in all of them, but in many of them, that is your right to do. However, social media is not just a bunch of people in a random square talking to each other. When you go into social media and you write comics, or you're at an elevated position to fans, you put that on your handle, you put that in your profile, and people know who you are. And so therefore, it's like, showing up at the public square, But rather than everybody being kind of unique individuals, a couple of us have costumes and crowns and, and scepters. And you're outfitted as somebody more special than the others because people going to social media are interested in talking comics. And so if you come in and they know you're a writer of one of the comics, and then you start posting kind of anti-Semitic crazy bullshit in there, then I'm sorry, you're using your elevated position to gain more access and attention. Right now as I record this, Mags Visaggio posted a pitch that, shocking, DC did not accept, that was intending to, in Mags's own words, trans Connor Kent to be Connie Kent, I guess. I mean, one of the funny things that's going to age really badly is that we're saying that people can pick the gender they want, but apparently can't pick the name. So if you're called Connor Kent, you definitely can't be a woman. If your name is Connor, I'm sorry, you're a boy. Because in all the postings, Mags is saying, it's Connie Kent. She's giving, Connor a feminine name by calling her Connie, because you can pick whatever gender you want, but you certainly can't, if your name is Connor, no way. Stop and think about that for a moment. If you can define your own identity, what does your name have to do with anything? You can pick whatever name you want. This is the fallacy of this entire nonsense, is like, if you pick one, you have to pick both. It's silly. But anyway, Mags is going on about this pitch around turning a DC character, Connor Kent, into a trans character. And look, you can do whatever you want. DC is not going to take that pitch because it's batshit crazy. Forget about the trans aspect of it. The pitch itself sucks. It involves future time travel and a bunch of other, it's not a good story, regardless of the the identity politics or the social aspects of it. It's just a bad story. Full stop. And this is the kind of the masquerade that a lot of stuff does. It convinces us that if you have certain social elements going on in the story, it must, you can't criticize it, but the story sucks. It would suck if it was a straight character, gay character, trans character. It doesn't matter. The story is shitty no matter what is going on with character. And this is the problem with a lot of this stuff. But anyway, Mag is going on and on about this, and it's getting lots of attention, and we're getting a lot of kind of people. We're getting the classic divide, which is, people going, this is a batshit crazy take on the character, which it is. And we're getting the other people like, if you don't like this take, you must be transphobic. And so it's a wonderful argument and a wonderful smokescreen that does a lot to distract us from the fact of, hey, wouldn't it be nice if there were good comic stories? Wouldn't it be nice if we could just tell good comics? If we could have a good plot? And so I'm watching this a little bit as an observer perspective, which is all these dramas, all of this stuff. It's not productive. Meg's posting this doesn't gain acceptance of trans rights anywhere. It doesn't help that cause at all. It doesn't help comics at all. Nobody's reading this going, oh my God, I should really invest in the magic of comic storytelling. It's all just a waste of time. And the majority of a lot of this stuff, and a lot of stuff we talk about on YouTube, on social media, and everything else, it's bullshit. It's all just designed to hype people on Twitter, whether you're for it or against it. I mean, look at a lot of the people who have made a living off of anti-SJW, social politics channels. Who's winning? It hasn't changed anything. It may be entertaining to listen to, and I guess that's a win, but nobody is really changing anything. People are just getting names for themselves. Meg's doing all this stuff. There's only one reason that Meg's is doing this. She's doing this to gain followers and gain people within that kind of clique, within that circle, to support Mags. It's not promoting comics. It's not promoting stories. It's certainly not promoting trans rights. It's just promoting Mags. That's all. And the person who's going to go in there and be really anti-Mags, they're not like trying to solve anything. They're just gaining followers, gaining attention. That's all this game is. You know, I look at a lot of the people who have made their careers on YouTube for being anti-SJW. You know, it's not promoting anything. I mean, look, full stop. And again, full disclosure to all of you. It's why this is just telling it kind of from the heart at this moment. I'm doing this because I want to talk to all of you. I could give a shit if I have 5 followers or 50,000 followers. I don't care. It's just, I'm doing this because I'm driving around. It's an expression. It's an outlet. That's what this channel is. It's just an outlet. I'm just, for a couple of you who've written me, I've picked up some friends through this. Some people who just, want to talk comics. That's all this is. I don't care about the money. I give all of it away. I just want to just chat comics. I want to believe, and the thing that will end this channel for good. And yes, at some point I'm winding down this channel. It turns out there's a lot of mails, and I was very humbled and impressed and thankful. Not impressed, thankful and humbled. A lot of you wrote in like, please, whatever you do, don't close the channel down. Thank you. I mean, that's nice for my ego, and it was very nice to hear. All I want to do is talk to you. It's the only purpose of this. It's why, like, some of the nonsense detractors in the comments every now and then, if being honest, do get to me, because all I'm doing is trying to talk to you. That's it. I don't care about the hit count. I don't care about the money. So all I'm trying to do is just chat with you. I'm not going to be, nobody's making me editor-in-chief of Marvel. This isn't a job application. That's all I'm really after here. And so, for me, that's it. For a lot of people, it's they want to gain attention. They want to gain followers. And I get it. If you're Shane Davis, you got to get attention somehow. I'm kidding. Well, you know what? Fuck off, Shane. You've been a pain in the ass to me. But regardless, oh yeah, good Lord, we're gonna get a 5-hour live stream about this. Perch is crazy. Oh, for fuck's sake, can you find a villain that actually that will give you some attention? Because I'm a shitty villain. Seriously, you can't go after Shane. Sean Gordon Murphy for tracing. Go after Sean. He'll engage with you. I'm kidding. Sean's a wonderful guy, but like, I'm a shitty villain. If you find yourself right now doing a live stream about me, you're out of your fucking mind. Nobody gives a shit about me. I'm just here to talk comics. That's what I'm here. And if there's 10 of you who are enjoying it and listening to this, that's all that really matters. I mean, the travesty or the pain in all this is that for a lot of us, comics are important and magical and matter. That's how we view things. And all this bullshit, it's painful because it's getting in the way of enjoying comics. It's nonsense. Well, for a lot of us, we just want to read comics. We just want to understand for a lot of us, we just want to know what's going to happen next. And for us, what happens next should be, who's next roster of the Avengers? Who's the next villain for Batman? What's going to go on with Clayface? That's all we really care about. What we don't care about is what crazy shit is Danny Lore going to tweet next? I don't care. I think anybody who does care is kind of weird. How about you? Hey, I know I say this every time, but I really mean it. Thanks for listening.